Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Chivas Del Norte podcast. My name is Barro, and with me tonight, a two-man pod once again. Luis, what's up, man?
Oh man, you still have Rigo and Flo covering Tapatio still? That's messed up, bro. Nah, they're busy today. They're busy. I think Flo he says he's busy all day with family, and Rigo's busy watching the 49ers right now.
Watching the 49ers be trash?
I don't know what the score is, but if like the problem with Rigo is like if you read the tweets, you would think they're losing, and then you look at the score and like they're winning.
So the opposite of Chivas?
Yeah. So if I had to guess based off his tweets, the 49ers are losing right now. But
Well, yeah, they're actually up by 3 points. So
yeah, and they're up by 3 points. He has high expectations.
yeah, man. I mean, it's the same. Maybe it's the same for all his teams. High expectations, but they just don't deliver.
Hey, I'm the same way with Chivas, man. Like, even though we came away, we're gonna talk about it. These 7 points, I'm not like the happiest with their performances.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We had 3 games since the last time we recorded.
Damn, 3 games.
On the last pod, we said we expected 3 to 4 points. We got 7. I really thought we were gonna pick up 2 L's at least, but surprised and still mad.
Yeah, yo. First of all, let's just talk about the last episode because I know a lot of people, like I know myself, like the episode didn't load for me on the Apple podcast, and I'm sure for a lot of people the podcast episode didn't load. And I think the theory we came up with is because you named it Negative Vibes Only, and about a year ago in October you had named another episode the exact same name.
Yeah.
So we assume like there must have been some sort of mix up with like the upload where it just didn't, like for me it never showed for me. Like we were looking for it. Some people it did show, for some people it didn't. But I just found that pretty funny that it's like a year, like it's just been a year of negative vibes.
Yeah, when I saw that, when you pointed that out, I was like, oh shit, we've been negative about Chivas for the last year. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah, but I think we talked about. I forgot how many points I was. I thought we were gonna come away. I think with like 4 points. That's what I thought. We came away with 7. It's just weird, man. It's weird. It's one of those things where like the team, as far as the outcomes, it's better than what you expect. But when you look at the product on the field, like I'm just not happy with it at all.
Nah, just to recap the games, we beat Tigres 3-1. We tied Querétaro 1-1, and we beat Necaxa 2-1. The Tigres game, Antuna scored, Macias scored, and then Angulo scored. But during that game, the other takeaways were Briseño flopping like a seal on the field. And,
I forgot about that.
And Briseño yelling at Gignac, me la pelas. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
The Querétaro game, Macias scored. Toño was catching chickens on the field. And then Macias misses a last-minute PK for the second game this season. And the Necaxa game, Gudiño has a mistake in the box. To me, that was a mistake. He deflects the ball to the middle of the box. As a goalie, you're never supposed to do that. The Necaxa player is there to clean it up. Vega scored. No, Antuna scored off a assist by Vega.
Yeah.
And then Vega had a 93rd minute with 58 seconds goal. That's going to be important because I'm going to talk about that clown that we hate. But yeah, Vega bails out Vucetich and Chivas at the 93rd minute.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, like I said, like it was a good win as far as like, or a good week as far as like our performances, like the way we came away. But yo, one thing about the Tigres game that I noticed pretty early on is, I don't know if you noticed it. I felt like, because they're Tigres, we just automatically assume that they're really, really good because they have Gignac, and we just assume they're good. But this was like the first time I saw Tigres, and like they just didn't look like that Tigres that you've come to know. Like a lot of their play, their defense, their midfield, they look so much slower compared to ours, and we were just able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Diego Reyes because he is garbage, bro. We beat him behind like so many times. He was like our MVP for real because he was so bad.
Yeah, he was really bad. And Guido Pizarro, we've known him. He's been a vital part of their team. He went on to Europe and came back. He looked like Jesus Molina on their side, like really slow defending. He couldn't catch up to anybody as soon as they ran right by him. So that's why, like, I remember in that game, the one thing I wanted was for Vucetic to be more aggressive with the speed and stuff like that. And he did. He brought on Angulo in the second half, and Angulo was able to kill the game with his speed.
Yeah, there was only one point where I was worried. Right when Gignac scored, right before that, he had like gotten into like a little altercation with a Chivas player, and at that point, I was like, if this guy gets mad, he might just come back and win the game for them. But thankfully, he didn't. But yeah, Tigres didn't look like the Tigres we're used to seeing. And I even watched their. I was so bored last night that I watched the Tigres and Santos game, and Tigres barely beat Santos. Acevedo, remember against Chivas, he had a great performance, like goalie.
Yeah.
And Tigres' first goal was a Gignac cross that he deflected into the goal for a goal. Like it wasn't even a shot at goal that opened up the score for Tigres. And then they didn't get the second one till like late in the game.
So you're saying these goalies aren't having the same type of performances versus other teams?
Hey, I mean there are stacks out there that prove it.
Hey, I will say the one thing from the Tigres game that I really liked is something that I've talked about before is like the runs that Antuna seems to be making. Like it's more like direct down the middle. And the first goal comes off a long assist from Iramir. That was the first goal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and he just makes that run like he starts off on the wing. He starts running down the middle. And it's almost like the center backs aren't even looking that way. They're like so focused on Macias in front of them that they don't even realize that someone's sneaking in behind them.
Yeah, you've been talking about the runs that he's making down the middle for like the last two pods, and yeah, we saw it in the Tigres game.
And then shouts out to what's his name too when he came on, and I think that's what helped him get the start yesterday for the Saturday game was Villalpando with the pass he gave to Angulo in the second half for the third goal.
Yeah.
It's something that the team when you have those type of fast players, you need the midfielders who are going to put those passes behind the defense. So Villalpando did a good job with that, and it's something that he's known for too.
Yeah, that was a great ball from Villalpando, and even in the first half, was it that game where Beltran actually had a really good pass to Antuna? He caught him like in stride. He dropped it right in front of him.
I don't remember, to be honest.
But I remember, but I remember I was surprised because we've been saying that Beltran's really not known to make those passes, and when Villalpando eventually got the start over him, I kind of understood Vucetic's mindset in making that sub. But yeah, if Beltran can learn how to make those passes, he'll be like a complete player.
Yeah, and that's like to me, that's how I'm going to judge a lot of what Vucetic does. Is we know we have these a lot of good young players, and it's can you develop that part of the game that they're missing. Beltran is really good with the short passes and with the quick movement with the ball, and he's really good like as moving the ball quickly. But can you help him develop those long passes? And that's something that I think as a Chivas, where we just can't buy players from South America, we need coaches who can develop our own players. It's something that I want to see from Vucetic.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go into the next was it like player controversy. I guess we had a competition with Toño and Gudiño again, because against Querétaro, Toño, I don't know what happened. He caught the corner, and then somehow fumbles it on his way down to the ground, and it just ends in a goal.
Yeah, like and it's funny because I'm watching the football game right now. In football, they say it's like you take your eyes off the ball, like you start thinking of what you're gonna do next. That you take your eyes off the ball and you forget about it, and that seems to me. I don't know when he had got his hands on it, he must have thought maybe I'm gonna run out and play quickly. I don't know what he was thinking, but that was a bad error. And I've been one of the people on here defending, not so much defending Toño because he's had a decent season, but I don't really trust Gudiño either. I don't think he's the answer either. So to me, it was never really like a big thing. Let's bench Toño. But at that point when he made that mistake and it cost us, well, him and Macias cost us the game. I understood why he was going to get benched.
Yeah, now he's cost us 5 points now. The Toluca mistake cost us a loss, and then the Querétaro game, we were in the lead, and we end up tying the game.
Him and Macias, they just work together on these. I'm fucking us over.
Yeah, Macias misses the PK again, second time in a row. Well, not in a row.
Well, it was against Toluca also.
Macias?
Yeah, it was at the end of the game against Toluca. But at that point, I feel like we were down 2-0, no, when he missed.
That wasn't the PK, though.
It wasn't?
No.
Who did he miss the penalty against him?
I thought it was Santos. He misses the
Oh,
PK
okay.
against Santos. At that point, it didn't matter though, because you're right, we were down 2-0, I think, or 3-0 even. But I'm pretty sure it was against Santos that he missed the PK, and then he does it again with Querétaro. He gets his
Nah,
PK blocked.
I definitely jinxed us this time. I definitely called it.
Oh, is that the game where we all added Amy on Twitter?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Amy tweeted out the return of JJ Messias. I forgot what she said, like inevitable or something like that. And I
Yeah,
remember, and when Messias scores the first goal, we all added her talking mad crap. And then they called the pen. And then when they were reviewing the VAR, I tweeted out, "All we need now is for is for VAR to call the penalty. Macias to take it and miss it, and then Amy jumps in our mentions again, and that's exactly what happened." I don't know what it is, man. There's got to be that pressure, man, of playing at Chivas.
yeah. I don't know. It was. I mean, the goalie blocked it. It's not like he completely missed the target, but yeah.
Nah, but you got a well placed ball. A goalie shouldn't stop it.
Yeah, but then we also see the mentality that Macias has after the game on Instagram. I don't know if you saw his post, but basically used I think the Michael Jordan quote where he's like, I've missed X amount of shots, and I'm not gonna let it get to me, and I'm just gonna get better.
Yeah, and I think I want to say Oribe Peralta talked about that throughout the week also, leading into the game on Saturday. He talked about that he has to have that type of mentality where he just forgets about it. There's gonna be misses, and you can't live in it, dwell in those bad moments. Just forget about it. If he wants to be a player that goes to Europe, you can't live and dwell in those negative moments.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't scored since he missed that PK, right? He didn't score in the Necaxa game. That was Antuna and Vega. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't have the best performance in that game either. Though.
He has not.
And I think we can say that for a couple of games this season, where he just looks out of it, or he just he just doesn't look like he has it. No, I talked about this on the last pod when I was like, I have a hot take. I didn't want to know if I want to say it. That he's not ready to go to Europe, or maybe he needs to go to Europe to start developing that next part of his game. Because I see a lot of flaws in his game. We see the striker. We know he's a striker. He can score goals, but at the same time, I feel like almost every other aspect of his game, he needs to improve.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll get into like stats that we have on that a little bit later, but I just wanted to bring up the Villalpando starting over El Nene Beltran against Necaxa. Like I said a little earlier, but when I saw that, I figured it was because he wants a player that can drop passes in front of defenders and wingers. I mean, not attackers and wingers making the runs and drop it right in front of them. Because we know Beltran isn't that kind of player. He can't make those passes yet, or we haven't seen him make those passes. So I understood that, and I know a lot of people on the timeline were.
Well, I took it more. It was a short turnaround. That's the way I took the subs, because he took it on Tuna also, and I don't know why you would take Antuna. Well, I think he's clearly shown he's probably the best player we've had offensively.
I feel like he's rotating Antuna and Angulo. Yeah. So that wasn't a surprise to me.
Well, there are also two of the kids that had COVID also. Yeah. We talked about, and Beltran has talked about that not fully recovering from it and still having some sort of effects from it. So I'm sure that went into it. In a perfect world, like if because we can go in a little bit more into like some of the substitutions, like. If you ask me, I would love to see Beltran and Villalpando play together. I think they could. I think that's the way you have Beltran play, and then you put Villalpando, who can put those long passes behind the defense. I think that's like a perfect combination you want to have in the midfield.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that too. And then the other player that made a start was Gudiño. Gudiño was in for Toño Rodriguez after his mistake, and he didn't really instill confidence in Chivas fans.
Nah, he's asked to. Come on, we talked about this. He has low lights, and he just wants to keep adding to them. He's not it. Like, I don't understand why people like. All right, you want to say bench Toño, fine, but then they're like so adamant about starting Gudiño, and I don't understand why. Like, he had that one penalty against America he saved and basically got a national team call off of it. But it's not like
he's made good saves, but it's not consistent enough for the people that are like demanding him to start. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And he was fresh. He was fresh off a mistake with the U20 team too. Like it looked like the mistake Toño made against Toluca. So when people were demanding Godinho, I was like, you guys really? I didn't post it because I didn't want to be like negative, super negative on the account. But I was like, look at this. I was gonna put like, look at this mistake that Godinho just made. Like, he's not any better at this point. He's younger, and I guess that's where he has going. He can learn more, but I don't know. Our goalie situation right now sucks.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to look for a goalie in the off season.
And then we have Wacho on the bench too. I don't think they're gonna start him.
Hell no.
And then our prospect goalie also made a mistake with the U20s. Toño Torres.
No, with Tapatio.
With Tapatio. Yeah, he made a mistake too.
The guy we have on them.
In the thing, like
similar to the Toño one that he made during the week.
Yeah,
it was very similar where he caught it and then he just lets go of it.
Yep. So it's like a little mini. We talk about Chivas being able to develop goalkeepers all the time, and now we're like in a mini goalkeeper crisis.
Yeah. Well, we do. I don't know if that's the kid, but I know we did have. I'm hoping that's not the kid, the one who played with the U17 national team, who's highly regarded. I hope it wasn't the kid at Tapatio.
I thought that's who it was, but I'm not 100% sure either. So I don't want to kill the kid and it's not him.
Well, that kid, if it is, he's got to be at this point. He's got to be like 19 years old or so, 18, 19. So very young still. And goalies, is a position where they take time to develop and really master their craft, and then they can go on and play into their mid-30s easily.
Yeah, look at Talavera. Talavera's having like a great season right now. And I was looking at names floating around that Chivas could consider in the offseason, and the three names that are coming up a lot are Hugo Gonzalez. He used to be the America keeper. I think he's at Monterrey now.
Yeah, he's been at Monterrey for a while.
Yeah, him. And then there was also Cota, who I forgot. I think we can afford him now because his price went down. And the third one was...
Really?
I think the third name that I saw rumored around was Gil Alcalá from Querétaro. So those are the three goalies that are rumored that Chivas could be looking at in the offseason. But I don't know. I wish we could just develop. I wish we had just somebody ready to go. Because this sucks.
I mean, I talk about it all the time. That's something that Chivas should focus on, constantly developing players at every position. Like, we can't be buying players, especially now. Like, we spent a lot of money in what offseason was it? The previous offseason. We spent a lot of money buying a lot of these players. Antuna cost a lot. Chicote and Angulo cost a lot. Alexis Vega cost a lot. So we got to start developing our own players. We can't just rely on this.
Yeah, I wonder how involved Vucetich is in monitoring the progress of like the youth academies and stuff. I know. Remember when Almeida was here, he made it like a big point to kind of work with them too, keep an eye on everything. But with Vucetich, who knows?
Hey man, I'm not the biggest fan of the way like Chivas plays. I hate how defensive we play.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I hope he's hands on with the Fuerzas Básicas. I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the performances that Jesus Molina has had recently? Like, I hate it, man. I hate him. I wish he didn't start anymore. I would wanna I just don't see the point in him starting as a defensive midfielder. He's not good. I tweeted this out. Like, I don't understand. I could understand if he was an elite defensive midfielder where he's making an impact with his defense and recovery of the ball, but he's not. He's not that. He's average at best. And I'm like, why not just go with two pure center midfielders like Villalpando and Beltran, and where they're gonna dominate possession, they're gonna hold the ball. At the very least, you can show them where to position themselves defensively. I'm sure Beltran can do it more than Villalpando. So I just don't see the point of Molina starting anymore. He's not good anymore. And he fucks up with the ball a lot.
I just think he's essential to what Vucetich's plan for the team is. Like, he's like a key piece to any Vucetich team, I think. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
I think the position is essential. A defensive midfielder. I just don't think.
But we don't have anybody, I think, that could do the job.
But if you ask me,
better,
I don't understand what job
as efficiently.
Yeah, but all right. So he's doing. Say he does a slightly better job than Beltran. He's slightly better than Beltran defensively. He then kills it with his offense because he makes so many mistakes with the ball, with his passes
going forward. Yeah,
that it almost negates what he does defensively. Any little bit of improvement he has over Beltran defensively, he negates that with his offense.
And then, all right, so this just popped into my head because I noticed it on Friday night when we played Necaxa. when they were all lined up to do the Pledge of Allegiance, the not the Pledge of Allegiance, the Mexican national anthem. um,
Yeah,
Molina's tall, dude. He's like
yeah, that's why
really
he's
tall.
slow.
But that's another reason he might be in there because we need tall players on set pieces. We're trash in the air.
I tell like I talked about what's his name, Guido Pizarro. Like defensively, he was just it was really easy to get by him, and as a defensive midfielder, like that's an issue. But his ability to play with the ball, to play out the back with
Yeah,
his possession and his passes, then you understand why he plays. He's like a playmaker, a deep playmaker. So you understand why he starts. But if he wasn't that offensively and they just have him there for his defensive qualities, he wouldn't start. He'd be terrible.
but that's but that's when Beltran picks up the slack for Molina. Like Beltran can play the ball out. I just think he's an essential part to Vucetich team, and I think he provides stability. Like he's not gonna cost. I don't think he's gonna cost you a game. Probably won't win you a game either. But I feel
I
like
think that's where the issue
A
is.
Villalpando can cost you a game on defense, but he can also win you a game. It's like a catch-22.
Right. See, and that's where I think like it's what would you want from your team? It's like Beltran, like you said, Villalpando can they might cost you a game defensively, but they're more likely to win you a game than Molina will. And it's like to me, it's especially like I'll give you for an example. What game was it when we had the red card early on? Was it the Necaxa game?
Yeah, we played basically like 60 minutes with a man up.
Yeah, and to me that's like what I noticed from the remainder of the first half after the red card was Necaxa was not really a threat anymore. The red card was to one of their midfielders, and they didn't even look to replace that position. They had one striker, and there was really no threat. And I'm like, if you can't trust your four center backs to defend that game, and then go more offensively in the midfield, or like what other? That's like that was like that would have been the perfect opportunity to at least show that you're willing to have like the right substitutions off the bench, and it's like take out Molina, bring in Beltran, and now you have Beltran and Villalpando. Like I said, Necaxa wasn't doing anything offensively. They weren't a threat. That would have been the perfect game to show that he's willing to at least do something different. And I think honestly, I think even the announcer said it at one point.
Yeah, I
He he,
know.
he he brought up that combination.
I know Manuel Sol was really pissed about it. That he did that. It made no sense. He said like you got to go for the game because Querétaro. I think they also got a red card in that game, right? Somebody in the
Tigres got a
Querétaro
red card.
match.
Tigres got a red card.
Oh, okay. So I'm
It
thinking,
was
but there's a Telemundo. The game was on Telemundo. That was the Querétaro game. And I know Manuel Sol was talking about the substitutions that they didn't make sense because he was going defensive and not going for the game.
yeah. Well, I mean, this game he takes out Chicote for Ponce, and that to me that made sense because Chicote had gotten. I mean, he got the nasty foul in the first half
Yeah.
where dude could have broke his freaking leg, and he never even coming after halftime he still seemed to like kind of hobble a little bit. So when he took out Chicote, that made sense. But then he takes out Chapo and puts in Gallito Vasquez. I was like, wait, I was like, what? So that was like the first move that was confusing to me. And it was funny because I tweeted as a joke. I'm like, we all want
Yeah.
Beltran and who was it? Beltran and Antuna to play, and he's probably gonna put in Gallito and Oribe Peralta, and those two dudes did play.
Yeah, we've been, we gave Vucetich credit for subs for his like first two games, and ever since then it just went downhill.
This man revived Oribe's career.
Basically, he put him on the. All right, so I have the subs here for the Querétaro match. Chapo comes off at the half for Madueña, who, bro, I had no idea Madueña was playing until he got subbed off. So Madueña played. Gallito got subbed in for Beltran.
That was what the Querétaro game.
Yeah, the Querétaro game. So Gallito went in for Beltran, and then Angulo went in for Antuna. At the 66th minute, the game tied 1-1. So you're taking out Beltran, who again could be because of COVID, we don't know. But you put in a defensive player like Gallito, and you take out Antuna for Angulo, which should sub makes sense because it's basically a man for man. But then you sub out. Then he put in Peralta for Madueña. Madueña had like no impact on the game. And he put in Chofis for Molina. But it was at the 81st minute. They can't really do anything, And that was 11 minutes after going up a man. Yeah. Querétaro got a red card too.
Yeah, I was pissed off like the whole week with like how scared this coach is to make like the substitutions. The Chapo when he takes out Chapo Sanchez in the Querétaro game, Chapo was getting sort of getting beat that game, but Madueña coming in and made it worse.
That's not, yeah. Madueña is
It
not
made
an
it worse.
improvement.
Yeah, it wasn't an improvement. Like for even if Chapo was getting killed by bringing in Madueña, you now made the game worse. So I didn't like that at all.
Chapo had a yellow though. I think that's what probably factored into it.
Probably,
Because
probably they probably
to end the first half, Chapo made like a great slide tackle, which
yeah.
could have, but because if he would have missed that though, that would have been a yellow and he would have been off. So I think that was the mindset behind that one. But yeah, Madueña is not an improvement over Chapo. Madueña is really bad.
And Gallito's not an improvement over anybody, over
Not
anybody
not
on
on
the
the
team.
roster. Maybe
Not in
Peralta.
2020. Yeah,
Maybe
not in
Arriba
2020.
Peralta.
That's true, but they're both pretty bad.
Yeah.
They're both like Gallito's. He's washed, like really washed. He should just retire now. Him, Oribe should retire.
Yeah. So look,
So
so Chivas against Querétaro went up a man at the 70th minute, and he didn't make substitutions until the 81st. You put Chopins in at the 81st, and you put in Peralta at the 81st. You could have gave them 20 minutes as opposed to just 9 minutes.
yeah,
So that was terrible. And then the Necaxa game, his subs pay off, but they still weren't good substitutions. I think.
did they pay off? I mean, bringing in Antuna paid off.
Antuna
Antuna
paid
should
off.
be a starter.
Yeah, because he won the game for him. So
Right.
Antuna came on for Angulo. Chapo got subbed off for Gallito, and Calderon got subbed out for Ponce.
Yeah.
But at that point, we were up by a man already.
Yeah, like he should have made moves to start the second half, like offensive moves.
Yeah, there's no point in bringing in Gallito for Chapo. Like, just leave him out there.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Like, you have 5 substitutions you can use. That's like the perfect time to go offensive, and then you still have enough subs to like, all right, let's go defensive and hold on to the lead. You know?
Yeah, I think the Chapo substitution that he does, that should have been Beltran coming in at the 65th minute, because you're up a man. Like, and Necaxa wasn't really threatening, and when you do make those subs, they come and score on you.
Yeah, bro, it was immediate.
Yeah,
it was instant. Like I tweeted out, like I would have gone with the midfield of Beltran and Villalpando to start the second half.
Yep.
Like I said, Necaxa there wasn't a threat, so you just rely on the back four to contain Necaxa's attack, and just let Beltran play a little bit deeper. But it's just a better offensive option than Molina was. I would have Antuna. He did bring in Antuna. That was the right move. At this point, like I don't understand. I don't know. Angulo, I don't know what's up with him, man. I was gonna say I don't know who's worse, him or Brizuela, but I think Angulo's doing worse than Brizuela right now. Brizuela at least tries.
Yeah, we have a fan question from Brizuela, so I'll save it for then. But so we'll talk about the Ponce in for Calderon. He did get hit, and you said he was he looked a little shaky, so that makes sense too. Ponce coming in for Calderon, and then the move Peralta in for Molina at the 69th minute. Putting in Peralta basically evens out the game at basically a 10 versus 10.
Un tronco por otro tronco. Offensively, basically. Offensively, it's not an improvement, and if anything, you lose out defensively.
Yeah, that's a wrong sub, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That's a sub that loses you the game offensively and defensively. Like, there's no positive to that sub. Molina at least won't cost you a game defensively, but offensively he doesn't contribute. But Peralta in, I don't know why he insists on putting in Peralta.
That? It's almost like he's forcing it. Like, I don't get it either. And by putting in Peralta, you're now playing with 10 men also. So from that point on, it was 10 versus 10. Yeah.
Basically 10v10. And then the 81st minute, he brings in Beltran for Villalpando, which is okay, I guess.
It was an injury though that made him bring him on.
Oh, was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, Villalpando he had like some sort of hamstring injury. He asked for it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, I was so mad.
So he wasn't even gonna bring Beltran.
No. And again, it was a 93rd minute goal from Vega that bailed us out.
Yeah, man, I just hate it, man. I just hate how we play. I just hate how defensive. I can understand when the game starts, it's 11-on-11. You want to play your style, that's fine. But the minute you have a red card and you have a one-man advantage, like go for it, man. Like I said, that was the perfect game for him to do something completely different and go for it. And like I said, now that we have 5 subs, you can correct some of the subs that you make. and he just doesn't. He just insists on putting Gallito and Oribe Peralta, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
Putting
so all the credit we've been giving or we gave to Vucetich for his subs, we're taking it all back because these last couple games they've made no sense.
Bro, they've been ugly games too. This game was, then the Necaxa game was ugly to watch.
Yeah,
The
I
Querétaro
usually
game was ugly to watch.
yep. I usually don't watch like I miss things in the game because I'm making like gifs for the account and stuff. But that first half of the Necaxa game, like I think I made a gif of a shot on target because it was that boring. I was like, we
The
need
Tigres,
something.
the Tigres game was better, and it's just because we were just that much faster than them offensively.
Oh, that's something else. Our styles. Like if we don't play a team that's gonna attack us, it almost feels like we have no hope of scoring.
Doesn't it seem like I think I told this to Rigo on Twitter? Doesn't it seem exactly like with Cardoso, exactly
Yep.
with Tomas Boy, exactly with Tena? With Cardoso, remember when we started out the season decent and we had the best defense in the league, but we couldn't really score.
Yeah.
And with Tena, the same thing. And it's like, all right, defensively we're good, but sooner or later we know it. We're gonna go up against a team that's gonna score on us, and how are we gonna react to it? And Vucetich and his subs don't give me that confidence. The same way Cardoso didn't. The same way Tena didn't give me that confidence that he's gonna make the right subs that are gonna make us adjust. It seems to me that he just makes subs just to make them. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, if we go down, say we go down 2 goals, I have no hope of coming back.
Hell no.
I'll probably just stop watching the game. But go down if Chivas goes down 2-0 in the game, I'm giving up.
No, well, this game. Wait, was this game the Necaxa game? We started off losing, right?
They went up 1-0. Yeah.
We got so lucky that we scored literally like right away.
Yeah, we scored like 2 minutes later.
Because if we don't score right away and the game starts to play out and the more pressure builds, I don't know. It would have been a way different ending. I mean, obviously it would have because it wasn't that much. It was the second half already anyway. But that was a big game. It was shouts out to Vega for that game, man. He went out and won that game for us. And Antuna too, man. The two party boys.
You know,
2 people that people want to cancel.
I have a stat that Antuna and Vega, they've been involved in 7 out of the 10 goals for Chivas.
Since that moment.
No, the whole season.
Oh, okay.
So they've been involved in 7 out of the 10 goals we've scored this season.
Well, I think since the suspension, they've been involved in like 5 or 6 goals. 5 or 6 goals.
Mm-hmm. Because Antuna scores against Tigres. Vega scores against Necaxa. At one point, Vega assisted the goal against Necaxa to Antuna. So they're starting to build up a connection.
Chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry.
Yeah. Let's hope it continues, man. Let's just keep drinking those Smirnoffs.
Yeah, and then so Chivas now we sit at the time of us recording, Chivas is in 5th place. We're 12th offensively and 4th defensively. I know there are fans that are starting to get pissed off. They're like, "Why are you guys mad? We're in 5th place." But if you watch the games, it doesn't feel like we're in 5th place. It feels like we're a bottom of the table team.
I don't know, man. Like maybe I see people say that. Like people are like, you should be happy. I think I've even seen like a friend of the show, Joeli, talk about just the results. And maybe like I care about the results, but maybe I care too much. Maybe I care a lot more. That I have higher expectations. That it's not just about the results; it's how they play. Because I'm not just a fan of Chivas; I'm a fan of the national team also. And what Chivas produces is going to help the national team as well. So if Chivas is producing good young talent, that's better for the national team, and it's better, and it's just better overall. Like we should expect a team that plays, especially with the players that we have, that plays better than what they're playing. That doesn't sit back and counterattack. That when they're losing, they have no clue on how to attack. Like we shouldn't just be content with like, oh well, we won by 1 goal. That's nothing. That's all right. We won, but overall, in the long run, it's gonna hurt us. It's gonna eventually hurt us. And we've talked about this with the previous coaches. Cool, we're winning the games. We're barely sliding by defensively. I mean, we're winning with defensive performances, but sooner or later, it's gonna catch up to us, and we're not gonna be able to react.
Yep. I completely agree. And, this is an example we keep using. If Chivas goes down 2-0, are we going to come back? And this team that we've been watching will not come back.
Tigres went down 2-0, and you thought for a moment, everyone thought they were going to come back.
Yep. America just did it. America went down 2-0 against Puebla last week, I think. And they come back and win 3-2 in the second half.
Yeah.
Chivas goes into a half 2-0 down 2-0, I'm done. I'm not.
That was
I'm not having hope.
That was the day Macias missed the penalty.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I saw because I don't know how, but now I follow like a bunch of America fans on my timeline. So before I used to like legit not follow or not even know what America did, but now just because it's on the timeline, I know. And I was like, oh, cool, America's gonna lose, and then I come back and they won 3-2. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so guys, stop being content with these results. You gotta want more. You have to want more.
And then, all right. So one more interesting thing about Chivas, the Chivas and bar and refereeing, whatever favoritism, whatever you want to call it, there might be some legit claims. An opposing player has been sent off in 50% of their matches this season.
But some are legit.
Some are legit, but it happened against Santos. It happened against San Luis. It happened against Tigres, Querétaro, Necaxa. It's happened 3 games in a row for us now.
I remember the Tigres one. It was a double yellow, and there were good calls. I don't remember the Querétaro one.
We didn't talk about that one, but I think that was a bad call.
You think
so? There was contact in the box by Beltran on I forget the Tigres player's name. I think Quiroga or something, but there was contact that it didn't. He shouldn't have got a yellow. It wasn't like an obvious dive because there was contact. But
wait, now you have me questioning what he got a red card for.
Well, he got booked earlier, and then he got the second yellow for the referee said he took a dive in the box, but if you look at the replays, there was actually contact.
That was it. To me, that was a good call.
No, there was actual contact, dude.
Nah, I thought he just misses him when the dude starts to dive in his positioning. Like once he starts to dive is when the contact starts to happen. But I do feel that Beltran slightly misses him, and it leads to the dude just starts to dive. I wasn't upset with that one.
Yeah,
the one honestly,
I don't think that was yellow, dude.
The one that I do think was a clear, obvious help for Chivas was the penalty that Macias missed
against Querétaro.
Yeah, I didn't see that too much of a penalty.
Yeah, even there was an interesting tweet from Chapi Herrera that night because she's on the field and I think she was on that side of the field.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna read the tweet. It's in Spanish, so I hope I don't butcher it.
So Osvaldo's waiting. He hit screen record right now.
She said, cuando el árbitro Galván decide marcar el penal sobre Macías, voltea al arquero Gil Alcala hacia donde estábamos mi compañero Mario Valdés y yo y dijo, esto pasa por ser gallos blancos. Finalmente el arquero desvió el penal, lo que se escucha en la cancha. So the goalie basically said, this is what happens when you play for gallos. You don't get the call. The questionable calls always go against you.
Yeah, no, and if we're being realistic and honest about it,
was a questionable call.
If we're being realistic and honest about it, I think that happens in every sport.
Yeah.
In every sport, the bigger team, the bigger name gets the calls their ways. In basketball, Lakers are about to be in the championship games, and people are going to complain that the Lakers are getting the calls. And any sport, it's the same thing. So do I think the refs slightly favor Chivas and America? I think so. I think they're slightly biased towards them.
Yeah, I think so too. The Necaxa game, there was a tackle that Chicote made that was similar to the one that he was on the end of, where the Necaxa player gets sent off. I think Chicote could have probably been sent off too, but he wasn't.
Wait, which one?
The Necaxa game. When Chicote got someone sent off because it was an obvious red card on him, but he also had a tackle later in the game. It was a plancha, but it wasn't as it didn't look as vicious as that one. But it was a pull out, a stomp on the foot and cleats up.
But then it's funny because, for example, that the red card on Chicote, the ref didn't call it that on the field. He only gave a yellow.
Yeah.
He then goes to VAR.
Oh, that's true.
Back and overturns it.
Right. That's true.
And gives a red card. So there you go. This is a red card that he didn't call, but VAR did.
And then just to counter the fact that people keep saying Chivas opponents get sent off, Chivas has gotten the red card in 30% of their matches this season.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 3 matches. The first one was I think was Vega against Juarez when he slapped some guy in the face. It says we lost someone against Puebla. I don't remember who.
Oh, against Querétaro too.
And then no, against Tigres.
Oh,
he got sent off against Tigres.
Oh, that was to me that was like his way of evening out the score.
Yeah.
I didn't think he deserved to get sent off for that. I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking I was like, oh, the fucking ref.
Oh, yeah, okay. So the Puebla red card was Lalo Torres when he got sent off.
Oh, like, yeah.
Yeah, but the Ponce thing was funny because, it was funny because you guys were tweeting me that on my birthday he got sent off. After I put all my faith in him, and then he comes and gets a red card.
I'm trying to look it up right now real quick. Let's see.
But I think that was a legit red card.
Oh, I'm on it right now. Let's see. Ponce gets there late
because it was a double booking, I think. So that's why he got sent off. It's not because that was actually like a red card play.
Yeah, it was a double booking. They didn't. They don't show it on the replay. They don't show it like slow down to see if it was an actual yellow or not.
Yeah, but he got sent off. So we've lost a player 3 out of the 10 matches we've played, and our opponents have lost a player 5 out of the 10. So I think that's almost even. Like no super clear favoritism.
So expect some red cards in the Clásico.
That's what I'm worried about. I mean, we can just jump right into the Clásico preview now, but I'm worried that there will be like a yellow or red card situation where the referee's going to kind of keep the cards in his pocket, because it's kind of like a trend right now. Our last 3 opponents have gotten red cards. I think the referee's not going to want to pull out red cards or even yellow cards on Saturday against America.
I would say that's the case. Just usually, no. I feel like a Clásico with all eyes on the game, they probably tell the refs, "Hey, just be a little bit more lenient than usual."
Yeah.
If there was one game where they say it, I would assume this would be the game.
Probably, unless you're Briseño and take a chunk of Dos Santos' leg off.
Clean tackle.
All right, so we got America coming up. Our next opponent, Saturday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I watched America's game last night against Toluca. Viñas went off with an injury, and I forget who their second player is. Hold on, I actually wrote it down in the notes of my iPhone because, Roger Martinez also comes off hurt. So they might not have Martinez or Viñas, their striker. And shout out to our football podcast. I know Adriana always talks about how America is always injured. Like they haven't had a full healthy team since like 2018, the final they played or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always struggling with injuries. And based off the way they played against Toluca last night, I think it's going to be a pretty even match.
Yeah, like you said, I also follow a couple of America fans, so I kind of see what they tweet during the game. And I think this is one of those Clásicos where both teams are both fan bases pretty much feel about the same way about their team.
Yeah.
There's no confidence. The one thing you would say is that it's a Clásico, and anything that's happened previously in the season doesn't matter this game. You throw everything out the window. This is its own separate game. It's played different. It should be played different than every other one. So that's the one thing that I'm slightly optimistic about it. And the one thing I will say is America will probably be the attacking team, and that should hopefully fall into what Vucetich wants.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, remember I was saying the teams that attack us, we kind of have a better chance against, and I feel like Piojo's the kind of coach that always wants to beat Chivas, so he's going to attack us, and that'll leave them open to counterattacks. And their defense is not great. They're ranked 12th defensively. They've allowed 15 goals. Offensively, they're first with 21. But our defense has been solid, so I'm kind of hoping we can keep them at bay.
Right. I think it's one of those games where our defenses and offenses are pretty much the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Where their offense is better than ours, our defense is a lot better than theirs. And that's the one thing I have seen. I know they lost. I just looked it up. I think it was Bruno Valdez for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their defense is questionable. I've also haven't seen people be the most confident in Ochoa recently either. except for Ivan from the Eagle Eye Pod. Every week he seems to get into a fight with fans defending Ochoa. So they're not the most confident about Ochoa either.
I can't wait to ask him about that on Tuesday. We're gonna be on the Eagle Eye podcast. So
yeah, so I like this game for Chivas. I think it, like you said, I think it'll play into the hands of what Vucetich wants to do. Piojo will look to it. He wants to beat Chivas really bad. I just hope. I just hope. All right, if he plays Villalpando over Beltran, I wouldn't be that upset. Beltran's played really decent. He's played well decent. He's well recently. The one that has to play for me is Antuna. You can't have him on the bench.
Yeah.
You need his speed on the field. I mean, Angulo's fast, or we think he's fast. It's a night and day between him and Antuna. His speed, like I've always talked about, his speed is different. It's a glaring difference when he's on the field.
I think Angulo has to be like a super sub. I don't think he should be starting.
Yeah, what about Beltran and Villalpando? Who would you give the start to?
I wouldn't be mad at either one, but I think Vucetich is gonna go with Villalpando because he's gonna want to capitalize on that speed, especially with the struggles that America's defense is going through. I think Antuna, Macias, and Brizuela can make runs, and if Villalpando can put the ball in front of them in stride, it's perfect counterattack opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's especially between Adamir with the passes he can give and Villalpando. I think that's honestly that's probably the key to the game is our counterattack abilities. Can we put those passes behind the defense? Because I don't care who they have. I have no doubt that Antuna can beat whoever they have to get in behind them.
Yeah. Let's do ideal lineup and at goalie. Who are you picking? You going Toño or Godinho?
I would close my eyes and flip a coin. I don't really care. If people want Godinho, fine, let's go with Godinho. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not confident in either one.
Yeah, I don't know who I pick.
I would go with honestly Godinho because this is the game that put him on the map.
Oh, that's true.
And so that there might be something there that maybe he'll play up to it again.
All right, yeah. So all right, Godinho then. At defense, I don't think anything's gonna change. Or actually, Chicote Calderon or Ponce.
I hope it's Chicote Calderon. I think you even tweeted some gifs out of him having like some decent.
Yeah, he was actually good defending. Yep.
Yeah, I will say, I love him as a player, and we talked about him being captain. I'm starting to notice like Chapito starting to lose a step. Maybe not this season, but I think heading into the offseason, we got to start looking at that position, especially since we know Madueña is not the replacement.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start looking soon.
Midfield.
Let's see. Well, defense. Yeah, the rest of the defense is not going to change. Sepulveda, Mier, and Chapito. Midfield, I'm going to say Villalpando, Molina.
I'm going to go with, I think he goes back to Beltran and Molina. If you asked me what I would want Beltran and Villalpando together. But I think he goes Beltran and Molina.
All right. And then up top, on the wings and striker, I think on the left we're going to have Antuna, striker Macias, behind them Vega, and then Brizuela on the right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what he'll go with.
And again, they'll
shown anything to like take that spot.
Yeah, and Vega and Brizuela will probably be switching wings all the time. Antuna, they're all just going to be switching the whole game.
Yeah, I agree. I also, like I still say, like I would love for us to play like in a 4-3-3 setup. I wouldn't even mind like if you were telling me Beltran, Villalpando, and Molina together.
Yeah.
And then across the top, Vega left, Macias down the middle, and Antuna down the right. I wouldn't even be mad at that. And then Villalpando fits into like that number 10 role where he's the one putting the passes to Vega and Antuna out wide. But I think we're gonna go with what you said though.
And then, do you think Chopis makes the bench for this game? He didn't make it against Necaxa, and our friend Joely already Googled what gastric problems mean, and by that definition, it said that it's because you drink or you eat like junk food or whatever. His WebMD search.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest, like the Chopis thing, like it's one of those things where you want to say he'd be stupid to like do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But knowing some of these players, like they're not opposed to doing stupid shit over and over.
Oh,
But
that
I'd want to hope that he just wasn't feeling well, and that's why he missed the game.
I mean, I sent that message in the group chat that Chivas hates him so much that they even sold his little brother from the academy. They sent him off to like an expansion team or something.
Maybe it was to what's it called though, so he can get some playing time. Trophies is gonna need some playing time soon.
Yeah, I think he's ineligible for Tapatio. That's why he hasn't been sent down there. You gotta be, I don't know, you gotta be a certain age. He barely misses out.
I don't get it, man. Like I can understand being upset with his fitness. I can understand. I don't know. Like when you put Peralta in the game, I have no in my mind. I can't fathom why you don't put in trophies. That's my like. That's
Yeah,
where I struggle with it. Like it'd be one thing if he doesn't play Peralta and Gallito, and he only plays like people in form, and then all right, man. Like that's his thing. That's I understand. But when you put those guys in my mind, I can no longer come up with a reasonable explanation as to why he doesn't put trophies in.
yeah, we'll see. I hope he makes the bench. I hope he plays, but definitely not gonna start.
Yeah, no, he's not starting. Yeah, man. I like I said, I think he's one of those players that off the bench he can make those long through ball passes.
All right, and the last question for the Clásico. I know last week, Luis, you brought up who would you rather have on Chivas right now, JJ Macias or Alan Pulido, and we both agreed with Pulido. This week, I want to ask you, who would you rather have on Chivas, JJ Macias or Henry Martin?
I'm just joking. Or Henry Martin.
Henry Martin has
go
5 goals on the season, and Macias has, I believe, 3.
Yeah, 3 goals on the season.
Yeah.
It's and you have some stats. I don't know if you want to read the stats first.
Yeah.
Before we answer.
Let me pull up.
You can go through just some of them. You don't have to go through all of them.
Yeah, so like career-wise right now, Henry Martin has played 142 games and scored 31 goals. Macias has played 70 and scored 27. So Macias averages .39 goals a game, while Henry Martin averages .22 goals a game. And you got to keep in mind that Macias is so much younger than Henry Martin and has played almost half the amount of games that Henry Martin has played career-wise. Yeah. So those are like the big things to keep in mind.
I will say I think Macias has probably started more. No,
Macias has started more. Yeah, I believe so.
I feel like Martin is more, especially since he got to America. He's been more of a bench player, off the bench player.
Yeah, career-wise, Macias has played 5,047 minutes, and Henry Martin has played 7,898. So about a 3,000 minute difference.
So he's more of a starter than Martin.
Yeah, especially with the age difference.
I'll say this. I think Henry Martin is more of a complete forward.
Yeah,
and it shows because here you have assists. He has 19 assists in his career, where Macias only has 2, which is crazy to me. But I feel like I would want Macias because he's a more clinical finisher. It shows in the stats, but it also we already have that more complete striker in Alexis Vega already. Alexis Vega to me is a way more complete player than JJ Macias is.
Yeah, I think he contributes more.
Yeah, he's the one who has a couple four assists on the season for us. So if you ask me who I'd want JJ Macias for the role that Chivas needs. I'd want JJ Macias.
Yeah, I think Henry Martin is definitely an underrated Mexican striker. I know a lot of people don't give him credit, but if you look at his numbers, he does a decent job with what he gets.
He puts up good numbers.
Yeah, I'll still take JJ Macias.
For the minutes he gets, and it's funny because this is something we can bring up to the Eagle Eye guys when we go on the podcast is to see what they really think about Henry Martin. See if do they consider him a starter or a key playmaker or whatnot.
Well, I think he starts for them now, but I feel like we asked them before too, and they just don't. I feel like they don't even know how they feel about him.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I've seen
what's it called? I've seen Ivan criticize Cordova, and Cordova is one of my favorite young players in Liga MX.
Yeah, Cordova didn't even start against Toluca, so I don't know if he's not a starter.
Really?
Yeah, he came in as a sub in the second half against Toluca.
Did they also have 3 games over, like in quick turnaround?
Yeah, I believe everybody did. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and then are we gonna reference the Copa por Mexico game that they played. What was it? 4-3, right? It ended 4-3 or 3-2. But I don't really.
4-3. I want to say 4-3.
But I don't really like. I don't think we could take anything away from that. It wasn't.
Nah.
America wasn't in the form that they're in now, and Chivas looked kind of. I feel like we weren't even confident going into that game either, actually, because they had beat Mazatlan and then they struggled against. I forget who, Tigres, I think. They lost to Tigres, they beat Mazatlan, they beat Atlas, and then the America game, we won, but I don't think we actually played better than them, from what I remember.
I just did a quick search of Cordoba's name on Twitter, just to see like anything, and it's just some comments are el fútbol de Córdoba se murió, su nivel está pésimo. Every game I see more critiques of Cordoba, and with good reasoning. He'll play one good game and then he'll disappear for a few. And I feel like that's something that Ivan has said. I've seen him put on Twitter also. But I think he's a talented young kid, and just as someone who's a Mexican, I hope he doesn't lose his spot on the team, because I think he has a bright future, not just in Mexico, but I think he has a future in Europe as well.
Yeah, from what I've watched, and with the national team, and then the few America highlights or whatever that I do watch, the kid is good. He could play, and if they want to send him over to Chivas for Ponce.
Let's make a deal right now. Ponce.
Well, remember earlier in the season there was a rumor that they wanted Chicote, but they could take Ponce or Cordoba.
Ponce, we'll give them Ponce, Oribe. They can get their striker back. We'll give them, who else? Gallito if they need a defensive midfielder. Toño Rodriguez in case Ochoa keeps fucking up. Damn, I feel like there's a couple more we can give. We can give him like a couple more. Madueña in case you need a right back.
Let's get all the bums off the team.
Yeah.
All right, so score prediction for Chivas America.
Score prediction for Chivas America. I'm gonna go and say that Chivas wins the game 3-1. I'm gonna say that preseason game, while we can't really take too much away from it, I think the one thing that we've seen is that their defense is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Antuna and Vega continue to be difference makers up top, and our defense holds up just enough. I don't worry about, especially if Viñas is out. I don't worry about like players. I don't know who else they have, but like Henry Martin, while he might score, he's not a player that worries me. Giovanni Dos Santos is not a player that I'm worried about. I hope he starts.
He's also a sub.
Yeah, I hope he starts. I hope. So yeah, like I'm not really worried about their offense. In other years, I've been more worried about. See, now I can't remember which player worried me more, if it was Ibarwin or Ibarra. Ibarra's the one that had the problem with his wife, right?
And yeah, he's on Atlas. He's on Atlas.
I can't remember between him and Ibarwin which one was a more dangerous wing player. I want to say Ibarra.
I don't remember.
He's not there anymore, but I've always worried about their wing players, and just to see, I just don't right now. Similar to like the Tigres.
Yeah,
like, it's not a team that scares me anymore, or I'm not worried. I'm worried that it's a Clásico and the players are gonna play their best. And Giovanni, you never know, right? There's always that Giovanni has the talent somewhere inside of him.
I don't know if it's still there.
Pull it out. Somewhere deep inside of there, that talent exists, and he might want to pull it out, but I hope not. So I think Chivas wins the game. I do think this is probably the most confident I've been in a Clásico in a long time.
Damn, confident. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Chivas 2-1. We're definitely not keeping a clean sheet because our goalie situation stinks right now. They're an offensive juggernaut, so they'll probably score one on us. But I think, like you said, Vega and Antuna are going to carry us throughout the season, and 2-1 Chivas.
You said offensive juggernaut, but I think without Viñas, it's a big loss for them.
Yeah, I don't know where Viñas is on the scoring table. He got hurt. Oh yeah.
But I do know he's like their striker though.
Yeah, so Viñas got 5 and Henry Martin has 5.
Yeah.
So their strikers actually score, not like ours.
Must be nice.
Macias got 3. Antuna got 2. Angulo has 2, Vega has 1, and I believe Brizuela has our last goal when we played. I forget who we played, but it was that nice cut in the box that he juked the defender and put it past the goalie.
Who?
Brizuela.
Oh yeah, that was
He
a
has
nice
a
goal.
goal.
Oh, we didn't even talk about fucking Antuna's late game winner and that clown. We gotta get back. I mean, Vega's
Vega.
late game winner in that
Yeah.
clown. We
Oh
should get
yeah.
back to it.
So
Yeah,
I
before we get
mentioned.
off, we gotta address that.
Well, we'll finish with Instagram questions, but yeah, let's just go back to that real quick. Vega, I said it at the beginning of the pod, scored at the 93rd minute with 58 seconds left because the clown Alvaro Morales he was calling the game, and when Vega scored that goal, like he couldn't come up with any excuse, and immediately just goes, "Oh, Chivas wins because they got 20 extra seconds. 20 extra seconds. Chivas wins because of 20 extra seconds." And then he went on ESPN, the Deportes or whatever shows they have, and that was his excuse.
He doubled down?
Like, no, that was his excuse again. He's like
That's what I'm saying. He doubled down on it.
What do you mean double down? He took it
Like,
back? No.
No, like he kept reiterating the same thing.
He kept reiterating it.
Even though everyone tweeted him that it wasn't the case, he stayed with it.
Yeah, when one of his co-hosts told him it, he showed him the screenshot. He's like, "Well, that's he said something like, that's the clock that the fans see. That's not the clock that the referee has on his hand." I was like, "What the
what
dude?
A fucking
like you clown, man!
Bro.
Like, shut the
one.
shut up.
He's a fucking clown. 2, like, guys, don't even get into it. Just post the picture of him as a clown. Just post that and that's it. Keep it moving. There's no especially he you know why he did it is because when Vega receives the ball, he goes like, Chivas is gonna lose. They're running out. He's like, they're gonna lose. They're gonna drop points. They're losing. They're running out of time, and then he scores right away. And then he says it like as if he wasn't the one screaming goal for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, my guy, you're the one screaming goal this long. But yeah, he's a fucking clown.
Played himself.
He's a fucking clown. He played himself in the finals against Tigres. I remember he interviewed fucking Matias Almeida and talked about Tigres was the favorites and this and that. You're not going to beat him, blah, blah, blah. And he looked like a fucking clown then. He's still a clown now.
Remember Pizarro and, what's his name? Fierro made fun of him in the post-game celebrations.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
They're like, dijeron que íbamos a perder, que nos iban a golear. ¿Dónde está?
Yeah, he's a fucking clown. He's one of those typical, they have him. That's what he's there to do. He's there to cause the controversy, to get people. He wants to get people riled up to then get the eyes and the clicks on their videos and stuff.
I'm surprised he's never caught hands. Like eventually he's gonna run into a fan that's just gonna see him and want to fight him.
You know what's funny is though, I'll be honest. Like, I used to watch a lot of those football picantes and all those a lot of those after shows and Liga MX shows, and a lot of that stuff is what turned me off and makes me no longer watch it. And it's not just on the side of Chivas. It'll be the same side on the side for America from Fight This and Jose Ramon. It's the only way they can get you to watch is by clowning the big teams.
And now they just it's just drama. It's like a drama show now. Like they fight each other. They insult each other on TV. It's just a big production now. It's not. They don't even analyze the game anymore. It's just storyline. It's like wrestling.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't watched in a while. I don't even know what the fuck they talk about anymore.
Yeah, I watched those specific clips because I wanted to see what his excuse was gonna be. Why? I agree with him. Chivas didn't play well. They did not look good, and smart Chivas fans are not saying, "Oh, we dominated that game and won." They see that we're not. The product on the field is not great, but we walked away with 7 out of 9 points in the week, and I guess some credit is due.
Yeah, you gotta give him some credit. I mean, Vucetich was brought on to give the results, right? And that's his job right now. Especially so quick into his tenure is probably more focused on let's get the results and maybe in the longer run have a plan of how the team was going to play.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Instagram questions. We'll wrap up the pod with this. Our first question is from @Groovy Flores. He says, any changes to the lineup you would want to see for the Clásico next week? We talked about it, but Beltran for Villalpando, Luis, you said, right?
I said, but I wouldn't be mad at either one. To me, the only one that, besides Chicote has to start, I need Antuna on the field from the get-go.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no rotation between Angulo and rotate Angulo and Brizuela. Well, Antuna needs to be on the field.
for sure.
And don't sub him out.
I think, I don't know. Angulo's a super sub. He can come in either he'll probably come in for Brizuela. But yeah, Antuna needs to be on the field with Vega. The next question.
Would you bench? Honestly, it's not going to happen because there's been no sign of it. But would you put in Pollo Briseño for Tiva?
No.
You would keep it the way it is?
Yeah, I think early season critiques from Sepulveda, to me, were kind of premature, and now he's played consistent, and those are dying down now. And I'm happy for him.
Break up with a girl?
I'm glad he's settled in, and he's playing much better.
Yeah,
we have top 4 defense.
I wish it does a part of me. It bothers me that Pollo doesn't play because I think he's so good. I think he's a really good center back. So it's hard. It's hard to have him. You know what I mean? Like it's just hard to have him on the bench.
And he definitely gives it his all.
For him. Yeah.
Flopping like a seal and everything.
It's legend, man. That's the thing. That's gonna be like his statue, like in the Hall of Fame. It's gonna be like him laying down on the ground with his head back.
I mean, that was the highlight of that week, and then Maria Sanchez did it for the women's team, but like much better and like efficiently. So those rumblings died down.
I'm starting to enjoy those freaking watching the feminine team play.
Yeah, they're fun.
Each game more and more. I listen to the podcast you do with Melissa. Like each game more and more. It's like, how can you not like the way the team looks right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or today when you guys are listening.
When this releases,
probably by now.
Tonight when you're listening to this.
Yeah.
I hope it's on Onimas. I haven't checked yet.
We'll find a link.
Yeah. All right, next question we got from @thebrody. Do you think Molina should continue to start? To me, he is inconsistent passing the ball. We've talked about it.
You guys know how I feel. I'll say it again. To me, he's not a defensive force enough to warrant to where like we can't try anything different. Like let's just try something different. You know what I mean? If he was Gallito in his prime when he was with us and won the championships, all right, you know what? I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I would just want to try something different.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going anywhere. So
he's not going anywhere. That's another question. Do I think? No, I do not think Molina. I do not think a Mexican coach is going to play without a defensive midfielder. I don't see that. I've never seen it. But then it's funny because I looked up because I was thinking about making the same argument. I looked up Mexico versus Germany in the World Cup.
Yeah, and
we played that game with Guardado and Hector Herrera as the 2 center mids that game. And it was like a game with no real defensive midfielder. And I know Guardado at one point in his career played like wing back. Mm-hmm. But still, like neither of them are true defensive midfielders. But because they're true center midfielders and they have the work rate and they can fight for it and they have good ball position, they made it work. So we don't always have to have a defensive midfielder. Let's think outside the box.
But Vucetich is also like 60-something, so...
Yeah, he's not going to think outside the box.
He's necio.
This motherfucker putting Gallito and Molina together in a game that we needed to win.
But Brody also had a follow-up question. He said, does Brizuela deserve to start? He is not having a great season. And I think that comes down to, do we think Angulo should start over him? And honestly, I don't think so.
You don't think Angulo should start? Yeah, I don't think Angulo's done enough to start over Brizuela either. I would even go as far as to say that Brizuela had better moments probably throughout the game.
And I feel like Brizuela was dropped back like a left back in one of these games. I think like he was kind of playing like a left back position. Yeah.
When Chapito got subbed out for Gallito, I think it was Brizuela who dropped back.
Yeah. So you have that versatility too in him.
Yeah, I think like the way we talk about the way the players rotate, I think Brizuela is better up the middle than Angulo is. I think Angulo is like just a true wing player. I think we talked about where Brizuela's shiftiness, he's quicker, like in tighter spaces, he can shift better with the ball. I think he's more made to be able to slide into that central role at times. So I early on, like I talked about, Brizuela just hasn't cut it for me. I think if you ask me just between those two, I would take Brizuela as a starter over Angulo. And just let Angulo be the super sub to either him or to Antuna late into the second. Do what he did against Tigres. Come in and kill the game with his speed.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like Angulo's the perfect super sub. Angulo has 2 goals, Brizuela has 1. But Angulo's goals have been, a result of his speed. He had that goal assisted by Antuna. He made that run and he was by himself in the box. And then against Tigres, same thing. Like Villalpando gave him a great ball. and he took advantage of it with his speed and scored. So it's
Yeah.
not like Angulo's out there creating the plays himself and scoring goals. Other people are creating it for him, but he's capitalizing on it.
Right. And even if, like, for example, let's take that Tigres goal. That's a play that I can see Angulo make again over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can envision Brizuela making that same play. Just because in that moment, I feel like he would have been further back helping out on defense.
Yep.
That he wouldn't have been up there. His speed wouldn't have gotten him that up there that quickly.
Yeah, and it was late in the game.
Yeah.
You know, you want that kind of burst late with like 10 minutes left on the end of the game to help you out. So yeah, I think Brizuela deserves to be starting over Angulo, and that's the only player I could see benching him. I don't think there's anybody else on the bench that could take a spot.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I've always talked about a 4-3-3 with Vega, but that's just not realistic. With Chofi's not there as a number 10, and I don't think he would put Villalpando, Beltran, and Molina together. That's just not realistic either.
All right, and then the last question from at 573GRE_C. He says, "What do you guys think Macias' deal is? Why such bad form?" We actually have stats on that too that I wanted to bring up.
So, bring in the touches. That was an interesting stat.
Yeah, so we're assuming these are touches or passes received in the box, because if you look at the amount of possessions that Macias has per game, they definitely don't match up. But so at Leon, Macias would receive an average of 9.8 passes in the box per 90 minutes, and expected goals for those passes at Leon were 0.37. So he had a 37% like conversion expected rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Chivas, he receives 5.5 passes per 90 minutes in the box with a 10% conversion rate. So he would get the ball twice as much as he does at Chivas, which could be affecting his form, because if you're not getting the ball, you're not shooting it, you can't score if you're not getting the ball. And Macias needs the ball.
Right, and how many times have we seen this season him take a shot from really far out?
Yeah, from
that
outside
almost
the box.
goes in. He's starting to become the Salcido of the team.
Not as bad.
Not now, because he has scored some golazos. Not as bad. I'm just joking. But he has taken some shots that have been really close from really far away. But I will say, and this might be like, we should probably invite Gotti onto the pod, because we already played Leon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been the perfect time to invite. We should probably invite her on at some point. So maybe where she can, because I know she does like Chivas as well. She's a Leon fan, but she does watch Chivas and she likes Chivas.
Yeah.
Maybe she can go into a little bit more detail about it. But I would also say the style of play that he's had to play under might be a result of that. I mean, at times I saw in the Necaxa game, I saw Vega have to drop almost what looked like where a center defensive mid would drop to try and get the ball. And it would basically leave Macias like isolated up top. And it makes it really hard to play out that way. If I had to guess, that's a big part of it, is who is the style of play, and then it's also who do you have around you that's finding you inside the box. I don't know if we have some of the same players that he had at Leon around him.
Yeah, and definitely like styles come into play, because Leon, they're like a shooting offense, and Chivas kind of hasn't had a coach like that in a minute.
No, we're a sit-back team now.
Yeah. So I think that definitely influences Macias' productivity on the field.
Yeah, I hope it's interesting. I hope it doesn't affect like his stock going over to Europe.
Yeah, I keep hearing that's a done deal.
Him to Real Sociedad. I think
Carlos keeps mentioning it on the
The
broadcast.
El3 pod, and I think he mentioned that it was a done deal, or I heard him say it somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard him say on the broadcast that he's leaving in the winter transfer window, and it's basically a done deal that he's going to Real Sociedad. But to me, I don't know, the move doesn't make sense. Like, why would you not just take him right now? I don't think Chivas has that much say where they're like, no, we're keeping him this season. Especially because these teams are like starting the season or in preseason mode.
Yeah, it's twofold, because on the one hand, I think I heard him say that because the team is playing in a European competition.
Oh, yeah, they need the depth.
That they would want the depth around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But you might get there and not qualify to the next round.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want the depth to start the season to go play throughout the group stages, and there
Yeah.
you have the. So I don't like if I was me and I'm Sociedad, I want him now. Let him be with us in the preseason. Let him start to get adjusted and comfortable. Like as far as rather than bring him in the middle of the season. It's not uncommon though. It does happen.
Yeah, but something to keep an eye on. I don't know. I think Macias is gonna be okay. But yeah,
Yeah,
those
keep giving him passes.
the two PKs are gonna be more him mentally about his mental strength than anything else.
Yeah, man. Like I said, he has this little maybe lapses where he seems out of it, but then he has. I don't remember. It was against Tigres. I forgot who he scores the golazo where he grabs the ball outside the box, goes by two players, and finishes with his left foot. Like we don't have many players that can do that.
Yeah, that was Vega that caught him at the top of the box trying to go through. Yeah, that was against Tigres.
Yeah, that was similar to the Vega goal in the preseason against America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in that case it was a 1-2, but in this case, Macias just takes on the two defenders by himself.
Oh wait, no, that goal you're talking about, Luis, that was against Querétaro.
Yeah, I don't remember which game, but it's just a nice little. That just goes to show you, like, he can be out of it, and the team wasn't doing anything, and that was nowhere. He has this like brilliant play.
Yep. So we'll see what happens.
And that's what Macias can bring to the team.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. Chivas America next Saturday night. If you're interested in playing pro clubs, let us know because we're gonna be playing the Eagle Eye guys on Friday night.
PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation. Yeah, that's important. So yeah, just add us if you want in on the CDN the pro clubs team.
I think they got tired of losing 1v1s. Ivan has a bad record. He's like, you know what? I can't beat any of them 1v1. Let's just beat them in pro clubs.
I hope. And if you do want to play, at least like have played a couple of games because if your guy's 80 rated, we're gonna get washed.
Yeah.
No
that's
80.
That's what happened with me against the Atlas guys.
Yeah, no 80 rated players, guys, because we're trying to win, not get washed. All right, this has been another episode of the Chivas Del Norte podcast. We will be back next week after the Clásico, hopefully with good news, and hopefully everybody else is back. Hopefully Flo and Rigo are back, happy talking about Chivas.
Stop on YouTube also.
Oh yes, shout out to YouTube listenership if you listen on YouTube. And yeah, we're out. Peace.